The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
From a radio station in America about something separate, and he started telling me a bunch of stories. One story he told me was that he's a driver in America of some of the biggest speakers, the big Jewish speakers that go around. His job in his area is to drive them around when they come in for speeches. And he was once driving Rabbi Pesach Krohn, and he gave a speech. And as he was getting into the car, someone came over and said, "Rabbi Krohn, that was an incredible drasha. That was so inspirational. It was amazing. Such chesed. Thank you so much." And Rabbi Krohn said, "I appreciate it. Thank you so much." And he got into the car. He turned to Rabbi Krohn. He said, "Tell me something. Does it really make a difference? Like, come on, you're one of the biggest speakers in the world. Like, everyone gives you comments and everyone says you're amazing. Do you really feel like anything when someone thanks you?" He says, "You should know it means the world to me. When someone says thank you, when someone says I appreciate what you said, when someone says that was a great speech, that gave me a lot of chizuk, even him, who gets it all the time, who's so used to it, who knows his own koiches, needs that validation. It's a very important thing. Your wife, says the Stipler, needs it, begede bekuach nefesh. Bekuach nefesh means it's a shiloh of life and death. If she doesn't get it from her husband, she will probably look for it elsewhere, and that's very, very dangerous. And therefore, Rabbi say, every husband has to know, and every person has to know, and this applies to all relationships in life in general, whether it's your roommate, whether it's your parent, whether it's your sibling, your Rebbe, your teacher, anyone, that everyone looks for validation. It's important to express it. We may think it, we may feel it, but we don't express it. It's something that we have to learn to do. It's an incredible and most powerful tool. Revolt in a school that had a teacher who just didn't make the bar. It wasn't working. So she had to do something she wasn't very comfortable doing, and she fired the teacher. Teacher wasn't very happy about it, but what can you do? Years and years later, this teacher called up the principal, and the principal answered, and it was the teacher. "Oh wow, I haven't heard from you for years. Everything okay? What's going on?" So the teacher said, "Listen, I want to tell you something. When you fired me, that was the worst thing possible. It was my first teaching job. I was so excited I could finally be a teacher. It was my lifelong mission and aspiration, and you completely shut down the whole thing, and that was it. I was crushed. I was completely crushed. So much so that I got depressed. We had to move out of town. My husband lost his job. We had to go somewhere else. We didn't have a house, a mortgage." And she started to list all of the things. And the principal was like, getting more and more uncomfortable as the conversation was going. Like, well, where are you going with this? So the teacher started continuing, and she said, "Well, I'll be honest with you. I started a teacher's training course. I really want to learn how to be the greatest teacher in the world. So I started a course on how to become the best teacher. And one of the assignments that we have to do is to write about the person that we hate the most. Therefore, I'm calling you." Right? That's what she said. The principal was like, "Whoa, okay." So then she continued, this teacher, and she said to the principal, "But the next assignment we were given was to find 10 things that were actually good about that person." And I started to think, in the beginning I was like, no, that person is horrible, they fired me, I can't believe it, my job, I had to move location, houses, kids, everything, it was terrible. Until I realized, hold on a minute, I do remember though, when I first came into the area, so you brought in a cake on Erev Shabbos, which I thought was so nice. And then I remember when I first came into the school, you welcomed me in, and you said, welcome to this new teacher. And she started to list, and she saw more and more things that ultimately she realized that the teacher did good for her. When she saw that, she said, "I want to thank you very, very much. What you did for me was ultimately the best thing for me, because it caused me to retrospect, to understand where my place is in life, and obviously go to this course and become who I'm, Mitzvah Shem, going to become." But that's the idea. The idea is sometimes we have to look deep. Sometimes we have to look beneath the surface and see the wonderful things that we have in our lives. When you're married and you have a wife that loves you, that cares about you, that does so much for you, sometimes you have to remember these things, and you have to concentrate on them and think about them all the time, so that you can not only think them, but you can also express them. Mitzvah Shem, next week, brand new topic.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org